Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar. My name is Joseph Vertito, Product Development Manager at Melissa Data. And today we are going to talk about a topic called firmographics and business context. And this is essentially for enriching your business-to-business data. And by the way, for you guys who are first time here to attend one of our webinars, welcome. And for those of you who have attended some of our past webinars, welcome back. And just so you guys know, in case you've missed some of our other webinars, you can always look up, if you go to melissa.com, you can go under our resource page. And if you click on webinars, you'll be able to see all of our past webinars on demand and view them and watch them at your own time. So again, we're going to talk about firmographics today. And before anything else, firstly, I'd like to define exactly what firmographics is. And what firmographics essentially is, from an analogical standpoint, is, firmographics are to businesses as what demographics are to customers. So when we talk about consumer demographics, for example, what are the kinds of information that are involved there? We got age, or maybe their marital status, or even their gender, or if they have kids, things like that. So these are what you call consumer demographics. And for businesses, we have similar types of information, and this is what we call firmographics. Things like, the value of a company, or maybe their size, how many employees they've got, their location, and so on. And we'll see the specifics of these later on. So, and by definition, firmographics is just a set of descriptive attributes of an organization in order to gain better insight when engaging in B2B target market segmentation. So we'll see what all of these mean in this webinar. So essentially, what is the purpose of firmographics? Well, it allows us to gain a lot of business insight, to learn about our B2B clientele. Where are they at? What's the general location of our B2B clientele? How many employees do they have again? What's the value of their business? And so on, including even, what industry categorization they're included in, which is determined by what we call SIC or NAICS codes. So we'll be able to essentially define whether they're, part of the medical field, are they retail, are they a technology organization, are they government, are they part of education, and so on. So these are the SIC and NAICS codes essentially allow us to be able to identify the type of industry they're part of. And we will see the significance of this later on. And essentially, this allows us to be able to optimize our marketing strategy. There is what we call marketing segmentation and targeted marketing. Through the information we get through firmographics, we will be able to market to our B2B clientele in a much more efficient and better way. So, and eventually and ultimately, this allows us to prevent any loss of opportunities. And we actually, here at Melissa Data, we have a new feature of our BusinessCoder API, which we'll see a sample of later on in demo, where we're able to append and update the context that we have for our business. So this, I think, is really important because, it doesn't really matter if you don't have any contacts to a specific business that you're trying to market to or trying to contact. With our BusinessCoder API, you'll be able to get information so that you could contact the right person. So that really helps us, again, in order to gain more opportunity. And also for you people who do a lot of business intelligence, creating reports and analytics for trends in your data, firmographics essentially helps you out again with that, because through the information like the industries or the SIC codes, the locations, the employees, etc., you'll be able to have a better understanding of your B2B clientele and a better understanding of your business overall and what works and what doesn't. So firmographics essentially allows us to understand who is it that are buying our products or services. Who do we cater mostly to? Who are responding best to our products? And it also allows us to understand who are not buying our products. Is there a better way for us to market to them, to be able to target them better? And overall, through the analytics and business intelligence that you're able to do with all of this firmographics, you get an overall better understanding of your clientele and the market. So, marketing segmentation and how this affects or how firmographics affects our marketing segmentation. And essentially, it allows us for the ability to be able to send tailored messages for specific industries or specific categories of businesses, right? So, for example, when we talk about company size, we're able to communicate more effectively to different types of organizations of different sizes. For example, if you want to target more of the enterprise level and large client businesses, uh, you'll be able to tailor your message much better for these larger enterprise businesses, so that whatever it is that you're trying to get across will be able to resonate much better to them. And really, uh, the marketing becomes really different when you're talking to smaller industries or smaller businesses like mom and pop shops versus people who are in the Forbes 100, for example. So the message there needs to be a little bit more different and needs to be tailored so that it will resonate much better. Same thing goes with the types of industries. Depending on the type of industry a business in, you might want to be able to improve where your message lacks, or maybe tailor it again so that it works for that specific industry. And of course, location is sometimes also a factor. Their geographic location, where they are. Maybe climate is a factor, or maybe are we succeeding more in a specific city, in a specific location? Why is that? That kind of information allows us again to be able to do some analytics and improvements on where we need to improve, where we lack. Benefits of firmographics ultimately really allows us to lower our marketing costs, because you're spending marketing efforts in better areas. You'll be able to lower the amounts of the costs of the efforts that you have to make, and of course you get more ROI when your message gets across much better through firmographics. And of course, you'll be able to identify new opportunities. Again, now with the latest version of our BusinessCoder API, we are appending contact information, which we'll see in just a second here. So outdated data, and the data that you have becomes stale over time. So if you have, for example, a contact from 5 years ago, of course that might not be valid now. So with our BusinessCoder API contact appends, you'll be able to update that, gain new contacts, and renew opportunities, and also be able to sell your points more effectively, creating scenarios that prospects can better relate to in advertising, as I've been saying, and essentially increase sales. Right. So now we get into our solution for being able to retrieve all of these firmographics and contact information for businesses. We have an API which is available, as a web service that you can consume through JSON, through REST and JSON. And we also have plugins and softwares that you could make use of, such as an Excel plugin. We have an SSIS component. We have an ETL component. And even in some CRM environments like Salesforce and Dynamics, this solution is actually available. So if you're using any of those, then you might want to try and leverage this API, this solution. So with the BusinessCoder API, given, for example, a company and an address, you'll be able to retrieve all of the firmographics tied to that company and address, such as the employee count, sales volume, industry, SIC codes, etc. And not just the company and address. If you have just the URL for a business, or maybe an email, or even a phone number, if you have it for the business, you could essentially put that into the API, and you'll still be able to get all the information regarding that business. What's included in our firmographic data? You get the standardized address, phone number, email back. And this is true for all of our products. One of the things that Melissa stands for is the data quality part of it. So we always try and give you the best and standardized data all the time. As I see in NAICS codes for the industry categorization, you got phone, email, and web URL for more information about the company. It also tells you whether it's a residence or a business indicator. And this is important because, if you get a business that's in a residential area, that might indicate that it's actually a home office or of some sort. And then headquarters versus branch. If you want to know whether this Google address is actually their headquarters or not, you'll be able to do so. Stock ticker and latitude, longitude for geographic location, and of course the county and census information. The brand new features that are included now that wasn't available before, which we have just released, is the employer identification number, and this is used for tax information. This is basically a unique ID tied to a business. So if you wanted to add that firmographic to your data, that's possible to do so. You got the executive names of a contact, and it allows you to know who's at that business address. If you wanted to contact specific people, we have their names for you and their titles, which is very important, because if you wanted to, say, for example, target the owner or maybe the president or the CTO, we have their titles, so you'll be able to target specific people of specific positions. And of course, we have their emails for you as well as their phone numbers, so that you will be able to renew your contacts and gain new opportunities through that. So just in summary, renewing your, the business contacts that we're able to provide, again, allows you to get renewed connections, gaining important platforms for communicating to these businesses, to these prospects. You'll be able to effectively communicate with them because you are targeting the right people, or you are trying to get in touch with the people of your choice, of whatever position they're in. You'll be able to effectively communicate your message across. And then, of course, gain better relationships overall with your B2B clientele, preventing spamming the business and all of their employees, or maybe getting your emails eventually ignored. And let's say a lot of people do this, you got a business trying to send information to everyone, which doesn't really work a lot of times. So it's better to just, send the whatever message you're trying to get across to specific people of specific job titles through their contact information. So I think this really works. So now just a quick demo of our BusinessCoder API. I would like to show you one of our solutions for SQL Server Integration Services. This is essentially SSIS is an ETL platform developed by Microsoft. It's part of a SQL Server install. And, by definition of what an ETL is, it allows you to extract, transform, and load data. So what I'm doing here is I'm essentially extracting some input data, which contains typical business address information, which includes the company name, the address, the city, location, and of course their phone number. And I am passing through all of that information into our BusinessCoder API. And in SSIS, you essentially just have to set up the component. Where do I have an address? Yes. And then you just specify where your address is in your data, where the phone number is, where the company name is, et cetera, et cetera. So you set up this component by specifying what inputs you want, and essentially you tell it what kind of outputs you want. And there's a lot of, again, this is where we see all the firmographics, which includes, the stock ticker, the web address, employee estimate, sales estimate, the standardized address is part of the return, additional address information like the +4 and delivery indicator, SIC NAICS codes for industry categorization, and their descriptions too. We provide the descriptions for these codes, and the geo and census information for location firmographics. And that's basically it. You set what your input is and you tell it what you want for your output. And take note that the input originally just has the address, the company, and the phone, nothing else. And what we're getting back in our output is all of this firmographics back. So this is how you would set the component. And if I run this guy, I will be able to get all of this information back, which we'll see in a second here. So it's getting all of that data, passed it through the BusinessCoder API, and it's outputting to a flat file destination here. So if we take a look at the results, for example, these are all of my input information, the original data that we had, and these are all of the firmographics that we get back. Again, we get the phone number back. The web address is now appended. How many employees do they have in there? What's their sales estimate? What's the standardized address and company name? +4 and postal code and delivery indicator are all there. SIC codes, NAICS codes, and descriptions. Here, you get up to 3 of these and what their descriptions are, so you can kind of see what type of industry they're part of. and of course the latitude, longitude for the location, as well as the census information for place code, place name, and census block census tract. So, and their county information as well. So essentially, that's how the Business Coder API works. What we did not see here, though, is the business contacts appends. This is a fairly new feature, and I would like to show you that straight from the API. So what this does is what we have here is just simply the raw Business Coder API, which returns JSON response for me. And it's essentially the same thing as what we saw in SSIS. This is what that solution is using at the back end. So what I'm doing here is I've given it a company, an address, and a phone number, and I try to verify that. And what I get back from the service is, again, the information on, if we had the latitude, longitude, their NAICS codes and SIC codes, if available, their general location. But more importantly, what I get back is also the contact information. So here we see we have two contacts for this business. We got Anthony and Colin, and their titles. Anthony will be the owner, and Colin will be a partner, and their phone number as a business phone number and their business email. So through that, if we essentially or originally did not have any contacts for that business, this really equips us with what we need in order to be able to reach out to those B2B clientele and send the proper message across, right? So this is what we call enriching the data through firmographics. And this is something that you should start leveraging in case you do cater more to other business clienteles. So. And with that, that's essentially really all there is to it to that short webinar. We wanted to show you the new features and what those new features can do for you. If you would like to do a trial of the API or maybe the SSIS component, or maybe some of our other platforms like the Salesforce platform, Dynamic CRM platform, Excel, or if you're more of a software guy, let us know and we will give you the trials for that. We'll send you the links, or you can click the ones up here. You can go to these. They're all in our website, melissa.com. If you want to get in touch with our sales department, sales@melissa.com, of course, they can also provide you with the demo links. And if there are any questions, we would be more than happy to answer them right now. My contact is also on the screen, joseph.vertido, VERTIDO, at melissa.com. If you want to send me any emails, any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Or you can even call me directly, 800-800-6245. My extension is 1827. Again, my name is Joseph Vertido, Product Development Manager at Melissa Data. So we'll take in any questions right now, if any. So we have one question come in. How many business contacts do you cover in your data? So we have a lot of data here at Melissa. We've been in the business for 30 years now, and we have gathered so much information, including firmographics and information about businesses. Essentially, we cover a good percentage of all the businesses in the US, over 15 million records just for businesses. And for contacts, even, we've got a lot of data for that. Over 25 million contacts is available in this data. So this is very, very, how would I say it? This is a very extensive data set that the API uses. So take advantage of it, try it out, do a little trial, and see how it works for you, how well we're able to return information. All right, I think that's pretty much it. That's all the time we have for today. Again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us for today's webinar. Please look forward to the other Melissa webinars coming up. Feel free to join those, learn about our other products, our other solutions, what it can do for you. So we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much.